I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to our ongoing Operation Freedom Health series that's focused on empowering you against the medical industrial complex. Who is the medical industrial complex? How about this? Big pharma, big insurance, big government who wants to play doc, but they have no functional medical knowledge. And who else is a part of it? Big medicine like the AMA. And that's why this series I get tremendous amount of positive feedback from you, our listeners, on this. Because Dr. Glidden and I provide information you're not going to get from any other source. Now, we're kind of like a tag team, if you will. Pete, we were recently, before we started this conversation you're witnessing, Pete and I were talking about professional wrestling and how politics and geopolitics, as my dad used to say, is a lousy version of professional wrestling. Well, Pete and I are a tag team, but we're not professional wrestlers, if you will. We're just a couple docs. Pete is one of the top naturopathic physicians in our country, if not the world. He's a great researcher. He's also a great author. Everybody is sick, and I know why, and attempt to cure with holistic medicine. And what I bring to the table is I'm an allopathic doc, an MD, a retired orthopedic surgeon who practiced on the front lines for 32 years, and a researcher in prevention. And what we do is, in a nutshell, we bring you the truth that the medical industrial complex does not want you to know, and our truth that we bring to the table is the empowerment of you and your own body through not pills, not shots, but through nutrition and wellness. It's my honor to welcome back my friend, Dr. Peter Glidden. Peter, welcome back to the Operation Freedom Health platform and the Operation Freedom platform as well.
Let's go, Brandon.
There we go. So here we go. So we're going to talk today. Pete, about, many people say, oh, this nutrition stuff is good, but there really isn't any, here we go, facts, data, or science behind nutrition recommendations. So this is going to be the science behind medical nutrition, Pete.
Well, it's really an interesting conversation when you drill right down to it. And I think it's important to have a proper perspective on it, right? Mm-hmm. Because the vast majority of licensed physicians in the country today are MDs practicing allopathic medicine. Mm-hmm. You were one of the top MDs practicing allopathic medicine in the country when you had an active practice. How much training in medical nutrition did you have?
Well, let me give it to you people go, oh, we don't want them to go on for hours about how much nutrition. This is my training in nutrition. It was my first year of medical school at Northwestern University in Chicago. And we were taught about hypervitaminosis A. Okay? And that if you ate two particular entities, you could die from too much vitamin A. One being polar bear liver, and the second being the unripe fruit of the ackee plant. Now, Pete, Northwestern University is in downtown Chicago on the north side, beautiful area, Gold Coast, but this is before it became a war zone. I can tell you, I grew up in Chicago my whole life, spent 4 years in medical school at Northwestern itself in downtown Chicago. I never came across either a polar bear or the unripe fruit of an ackee plant. But people, but it's true, Pete. That right there, Pete, right there. That was the extent of my nutritional training throughout medical school. And now I did an internship and residency in orthopedic surgery, but still, that was it.
Now, you see, the problem here is cognitive dissonance. And the medical education has been set up in such a way that the intention is to brainwash the students, right? Mm-hmm. And so you're the exception that proves the rule, but most medical doctors, when they exit school, get into the real world, they actually believe that if they were not taught it in medical school, it's simply not valid.
Right. No, right.
Right?
Yeah, true.
And because they were never taught medical nutrition, well, what's that? Nonsense. Right? It's tertiary at best. It's not primary.
Well, here's the other thing. That a lot of docs have told me to my face. Well, Dave, nutritionally, anything you take in vitamins or nutrients, you just pee them out.
Yeah. Gives you expensive urine, but don't take your vitamin E 48 hours before surgery because it'll thin your blood.
No, that's exactly it.
Yeah.
So as a surgeon, right?
Which one is it?
The anesthesiologists go, well, we want to make sure that people are not taking their fish oil, their vitamin E. If they are on vitamin K, we need to know about, well, wait a minute. If none of that stuff is effective, what does it matter that they need to stop it before their surgery?
You can't have it both ways.
Right. So their response to me would be, they just need to stop it.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, right. That's it. And so this speaks volumes to the situation that we find ourselves in. So I'm going to read you some really interesting numbers here in just a second. But the moral to this story is that if somebody tells you that there has been no research done on medical nutrition and that it's all just, happenstance, quackery, then you should view the intellectual disposition of that person the same way that you would view the intellectual disposition of somebody that told you that the moon really was made out of green cheese. They're nuts. They're completely outside of their ballpark. They're completely outside of their comfort zone. They're batting way above their body weight. And they're just not to be respected at all. So I took the Healthy Start Pack, the Healthy Foundation Pack. And in the Healthy Foundation Pack, there are a number of single nutrients, vitamin A, vitamin B1, B2, right? A lot of different minerals. And there are also a combination of things, like patented combination of things like fructo-oligosaccharides and purigenic, multifaceted free radical defense system and a whole food blend and a lot of other things. I disregarded those and just focused on the individual nutrients in the Healthy Foundation Pack. And then I went to PubMed, which is the public database run by the CDC. And that's where all of the research that's ever been done on anything goes, so you can look it up yourself. Pretty interesting database. I did a search in PubMed for each of the individual ingredients that's in the Foundation Pack. You know how many published research studies there have been on all of those nutrients combined?
Thousands.
Thousands. 2,956,012.
Wow.
And that's just on the individual nutrients, not the patented stuff. That's more extraordinary. Nearly 3 million. 3 million published studies, published peer-reviewed studies on the impacts of vitamins, minerals, essential fats, essential nutrients. 3 million published studies. So the simple fact of the matter is that just, this is the way that it is in the world that we live in. Constant war is peace and constant surveillance is security. And north is south and up is down and men are women and women are men. When somebody tells you in the mainstream tells you one thing, the exact opposite
Very true.
is the case. Medical nutrition is extremely well researched. It is extremely well researched, and it is extremely well researched. And interestingly enough, more people in the world spend per capita nearly as much money on vitamins and minerals and botanical medicines as they do on pharmaceuticals. And the pharmaceutical industry is aware of this, which is why they have to continue with direct-to-consumer ads and aggressive legislation to keep their competition at bay. Because in a free medical market, because all of this stuff really is science-based and clinically verified, people would gravitate towards the system of medicine that was most effective. And, let's be honest, this is not what my profession brings to the table isn't the be-all, end-all, cure-all. I mean, thank God for military field medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for trauma care. Thank God for the stuff they can do with surgery now. And that's where all the advances in medicine have been made in the last 100 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's
True.
been with surgical techniques and diagnostic techniques. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, heart disease increases, chronic disease increases, arthritis increases, Alzheimer's increases. We're getting sicker as a world, not healthier. We're getting sicker. And while there's this wealth of information that's available, which is, in fact, science-based and clinically verified, but which is suppressed by the pharmaceutical industry. They don't want this message to get out because it would ruin them in a year, for goodness sakes.
So we talk about the foundation pack or the starter pack. Educate our listeners about the components. And in full disclosure, we have further information on OperationFreedomHealth.com. A lot of free information there for you. But we also have the products available, and purchase the products does benefit this platform. So, Pete, educate our listeners of the components that made up that almost 3 million entries of research that comprise what's in the foundation pack. Educate our listeners of the components and what type of beneficial effect they have on their entire body, not just a particular organ system, but their entire body.
So your body is a complex system of interrelated parts.
Mm-hmm.
And in order for that complex system of interrelated parts to function optimally, there are, so far as we know now, subject to improval over time as more research gets done, 90 essential nutrients that the human body needs. 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids, 2 fatty acids, which are essential, which means the body needs them, but it can't make them. So these essential nutrients have to go down the hatch on a regular basis. However, they're not found in the food that we eat. Some of them are, but a lot of them aren't. And ironically, many of the foods that people eat on a regular basis promote inflammation, which actually decreases the amount of nutrients in the body because the body has to put out the fires of inflammation. And that's a nutrient-demanding job. So the moral to this story is whether you believe it or not, whether you know it or not, you are, in fact, nutritionally deficient. Everybody on planet Earth is nutritionally deficient, and by everybody, I mean everybody. Because the stuff that the body needs to work is not in the food. It's simply not. So you got to put it back. So that's why the Healthy Foundation Pack was formulated. It was formulated specifically to put the 90 essential nutrients that the human body needs together in a formula or formulas that are easy for the body to absorb and that give the body everything that it needs. And by everything, I mean everything. As far as essential nutrients go, you still need calories, and you need water, and you need air, and you need sunlight. But as far as essential nutrients go, the foundation pack has you covered. Now, interesting. The kind of linchpin of the foundation pack is this product. It's called Tangy Tangerine 2.5. And in this product, it's a multivitamin, multi-mineral, antioxidant extravaganza. This particular supplement, about 12 years ago, was researched at Clemson University. Clemson University did a research project on this particular supplement, and here's what they found. This product, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, it was actually, this is 2.5, Beyond Tangy Tangerine 2.5. The research was done on the original Tangy Tangerine, which was the predecessor of this. This is better. So the research that Clemson did on the prior product, here were their results. In vitro, they grew cancer cells in a dish, petri dish, and then they exposed the cancer cells to the ingredients in this in dose-dependent fashion, right? Here's what they found. There was a 60% reduction of colon cancer cells. So the Tangy Tangerine applied to cancer cells in petri dishes killed 60% of them, killed 65% of cancerous liver cells, killed 65% of cancerous stomach cells, And there was a 30% reduction in breast cancer cells from one supplement. Now, you would think this was in vitro, right? Because you can't do studies like this on humans because, right, the Nuremberg Code, which people only apply now when it's convenient to apply it.
Right.
But nonetheless, you would think that if I was a pharmaceutical company and I did an in vitro study that got this kind of result, that I would be taking this to the moon and back. I would pour all the research money that I had into figuring this out because these are remarkable numbers.
They are.
But no. Because, that medical nutrition, there's no science behind it. It's all quack medicine. Right?
Right.
Makes you want to rip somebody's hair out.
Well, it really does. And then then when you get to the other component, right, the OsteoFX side, right?
So this is just one part of the foundation pack. Right. There are 1, 2, 3 other parts. My next favorite part is a white liquid calcium supplement, which has not only calcium but magnesium and some other things that the body needs in order to uptake the minerals. If there was just one supplement that I could recommend by law, everybody need to take, it would be that one. Because calcium is the king of the minerals in the body. I mean, as evidenced by your skeleton, right? I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. You just have a visual look. Well, there's a skeleton. It's made mostly out of calcium. I wonder why. Well, because calcium is a really important mineral in the body. It regulates hormones. It regulates the heartbeat. It regulates the blood pressure. Regulates nerve transmission. Essential for your strength and integrity of your skeletal system. I mean, it's a big bad voodoo daddy. It's a very important nutrient. And the Beyond Osteo FX delivers calcium in a way that I've never seen before. It is unbelievably absorbable. And because it's unbelievably absorbable, it is unbelievably effective. Not because it's magic, but because your body needs it. And the form that it's in that particular supplement, your body can suck up and utilize like nobody's business. And it is way ahead of all of the other calcium supplements that you'll find on the shelf at a health food store.
And that's an important point, Pete, because some people say, well, I can get this cheaper at a health food store of some other version. But it comes down to bioavailability, what your body absorbs so it's available for your body to utilize it. And that's because, Pete, you could prescribe a lot more expensive things that are prescription grade, and you don't.
Because you want to give the stuff that works.
That's right.
I went off on this particular subject in my first book, Everybody is Sick and I Know Why. I'll just paraphrase it real quickly. If you were to get a top-of-the-line calcium supplement at a health food store, you would need to take about 60 tablets a day in order to get the RDA, the recommended daily amount of calcium, into your body. Because those supplements, you're lucky if they're about 15% bioavailable. Now, there's 60 tablets in one bottle. So nobody's going to swallow 60 tablets in a day, and most people swallow 2 because that's what it says to do on the label. And then they don't get any demonstrable results. And so they go away thinking, oh, that medical nutrition, it doesn't work. Well, it works. You just didn't apply it correctly.
Right.
I mean, if I'm trying to put a fire out in my backyard and I use a squirt gun, well, it's probably not going to work. I need to turn a hose on that. Both are using water. A hose works better. Beyond OsteoFX works way better than any calcium supplement I've ever seen, and I think I've seen just about all of them.
And then another component of the foundation pack. So we have the Tangy Tangerine, we have the OsteoFX, it has the calcium magnesium. You have a third component.
Plant-derived minerals, which is a time capsule in a bottle.
That's a good way to put it.
It is.
Yeah, it is.
So years ago, in dinosaur days, there was a lake in southern Utah. Might have even been an inland sea. surrounded by mountains. And, I think the oxygen back then was 40% more oxygen. And that's why the dinosaurs were so big, by the way, and why the plants were so big. There was way much more oxygen in the world and way more minerals in the soil. So you've got all of these giant dinosaur plants growing in this minerally rich soil. And then the comet lands, the dark winter comes, and all the animals die. And, ash goes up, covers the whole globe, and then the whole ecosystem reboots. A couple of billion years later, those plants, which were heavily minerally rich, decomposed in the soil. But the minerals don't decompose. Mm-mm. The plants concentrated all of those minerals. And as the plant decomposes, the minerals don't. The minerals remain there in a concentrated form. And the ultimate geological expression of that was a substance called humic shale. So there's a giant, and by giant, I mean it's huge. I was there twice in person at this mine in southern Utah, this tremendous deposition of humic shale. And the humic shale is like 99.9% organic plant-derived minerals from the dinosaur days. And, if you're trying to get the body to suck up a mineral, you can dig the mineral up out of the ground if you can find it, like the White Cliffs of Dover. It's all calcium carbonate.
Right.
Dig the calcium out of the ground, take it home, purify it, pulverize it, put it in a little capsule, swallow it. Well, you can do that. Or you can put that calcium in the soil that you're growing plants in. Mm-hmm. And when the plants suck the calcium up, they alter its composition, making it into an extremely bioavailable mineral, which is way more bioavailable than just the mineral sitting in the ground all by itself. So a plant-derived mineral is nature's preferred way of getting minerals into the human body. And that's what Youngevity's plant-derived minerals is. It is 100% organic, dinosaur day, plant-derived organic minerals. And by the way, this is not a point to overlook. It gives you all 60 minerals that your body needs, all of them. Not half of them, not a third of them, not a fractionated amount of them, all of them in a way of a form, natural form that your body needs, wants, and loves. It's a remarkably effective supplement, especially because, minerals are 66% of the body's nutrient needs.
That's right.
So when you start taking a mineral supplement into your body sucks it up like nobody's business. It's like Christmas every day. It's a fantastic thing.
And the final component?
Omega-3 essential fats. And if you're a child, omega-3 and omega-6 essential fats in a gel cap that was formulated under a nitrogen blanket. So no oxygen gets in there to start oxidizing the oil. Essential for human health. Skin needs it. Lungs need it. Nerves need it. Very important thing to help regulate normal sleep and insulin uptake, the sugar metabolism in the human body. These are remarkable supplements, each individually all by themselves, flippin' fantastic. However, when you put them all together, it's unrecognizably awesome. But I mean, no kidding. Because it's everything that the body needs in recipes that it can absorb, and that beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. And that's why we get results when other people don't. And we get results. And again, this is not the be-all, end-all, cure-all for all human ailments, but it's extremely effective, sophisticated, science-based, and clinically verified. If you haven't tried the Healthy Foundation Pack, you simply do not know what you're missing. You need to slam those doors and kick those tires and take this baby out for a ride and see how you feel.
Pete also has done a really brilliant video called The 12 Bad Foods of What You Need to Avoid as part of this foundation. It's free. It's on our website, operationfreedomhealth.com. We also have more information on each of the products that we've talked about today and in the weeks prior. Pete and I have been doing this for well
Long
over
time.
almost 3 years, where we have these videos, and they're all in our archives for you. But we hope you'll stop by OperationFreedomHealth.com. At a minimum, take a look at the 12 bad foods. We also have further information on what we've discussed today. And then if you decide you want to take the supplements and empower yourself in your own health and wellness, they're there for you. And again, full disclosure, purchase of those products does support this platform. Now, Pete has another website, drglidden.com. Pete, educate our listeners on your there you go, on your website. At least your shirt didn't rip when you did that this time. So educate our listeners on your website and your books.
Well, knowledge is power, and my people are destroyed by lack of it. Mm-hmm. The stuff that my colleagues and I are educated in and that we perfect with clinical experience is not available through the mainstream. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe there are 200 naturopathic doctors right now that I would feel comfortable referring friends and family members to. 200. There's hundreds of millions of people in the United States, billions of people all around the world that need this information. Mm-hmm. And there simply aren't enough doctors like myself to go around. There just aren't. And, Big Pharma doesn't like any of this. No. So there's aggressive censorship happening all of the time. I mean, my profession's been dealing with this for over 100 years. This coronavirus censorship is new to most people, but not to me.
Right.
Not to my cohort.
Right.
But I digress. So in order to fill this void, to help just educate, increase the knowledge base, I put together a ton of information about all of this in my books and in video presentations available at drglidden.com. It's a monthly subscription to view the stuff. You can cancel anytime. I make it easy to sign up. I make it easy to sign out. We have a 2-hour-long live chat that I host every week. It's 1 hour on Tuesdays and 1 hour on Thursdays. People from all over the world come and they ask questions. Like the fella said, people will come for the information, but they'll stay for the community, because the simple fact of the matter is that there are millions of people in the world just like you, who are fed up to here with conventional medicine, and they're looking for alternatives. Mm-hmm. And those are the people that I serve, and that's the community that I'm building at drglidden.com. Please go there. Please check it out. Please become a member and see what you're missing.
Pete, I'd like to thank you for everything you have done, are doing, and will do. I'd like to thank you folks for joining us today. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.